Welcome to the Tone Jerks podcast. I'm your host, Brian Gower. With me today is
Kyle McIntyre.
And we have a special guest, a live in-studio guest in our house. We have
RJ Smith.
All right.
Man. It's a long time coming.
Yeah, we've been talking about it for a while. So he's a good friend of ours. We actually met him at the 200th episode of 60 Cycle Home. We were at that party. We were, getting lit, having fun. So we've been talking to RJ.
Sausages.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I had the charcuterie board. It was awesome.
Yeah, so we've been, talking online about Tone. He's got a lot of cool shit coming up, which we will get into. But before we get into that, let's do the what's new. Kyle, what's new in your world? What's shaking? What's grooving?
I've been working on some spruce effects PCBs, so I just got some stuff in to populate those boards. I'm going to solder them in. Maybe I'll even do that tonight.
What'd you get?
I got, they have an OD, so an overdrive, little tiny circuit board, and then there's a fuzz. I'm actually going to try and incorporate those into one enclosure. And so I got to figure out the logistics, basically. And that, I don't know exactly what I'm doing, so it may take a while. But this is me officially announcing that I'm in the game.
You're in that game.
Yeah. So I got that. I got a really cool enclosure from Mammoth. I got a bunch of stuff from Mammoth. Actually.
Yeah. You got like a package today. You got
like 171 items, like in a box, like it's like an envelope.
Yeah, I mean,
It's
you're
cool.
You're working on stuff. You also, I guess, since the last episode, you also modded my wah pedal,
Yeah, I modded the wah pedal.
true bypass, and an LED.
Yeah, and that so far has worked out. I may have to switch out that the switch. I think it's too soft, but
So far, no, I
like it?
really dig it. So it's working out really well. And my biggest thing is I got to figure out how to fit that normal size wah pedal on a board. I really
just put it on the ground.
Is this the pink one that you
yes,
got?
that pink
Yeah.
one. It's like
Okay.
basically it's like a normal crybaby size wah. And to me, I'm like, those are gigantic because
They're
I only
huge.
ever have used the crybaby mini or my Chihuahua, which is small. It's
Yeah.
like boss pedal sized.
Yeah.
And once I bought that pink one just as for the novelty of it being pink. And then I'm like, well, it doesn't have an LED and then it's not true bypass and stuff like that. It's like the tone suck and stuff like that. And talked to Kyle about it. I'm like, all right, well, you have all these parts. I send him instructions on how to do it. I'm like, can you do this? He's like, yeah. So I'm like, I had no idea what he did, but he made it work. It looks cool.
Yeah,
So
it
I'm
worked
really,
out.
I'm really digging it.
I also got a bass bridge in the mail today. That was kind of cool.
Yeah.
It's a Badass 3.
Those are amazing.
I have it on every single bass I play, except for the pink bass, which I'm going to put it on.
Yeah, you got a Squire base. So you can
So
throw it on
I
there,
think
right?
the actual the screws will line up. I just have to drill and put ferrules on the back and make it a strength through.
There you go.
So that's my next project.
What kind of bass? It's a Squire.
It's a
what?
Squire Affinity, just a
P base.
P bass.
Yeah.
P
Okay.
bass. It's like an O.
Cool. And back to the spruce thing. Just real quick. Is that like OD based off any kind of circuit? Like what
I don't
are the
know.
circuits based off of?
I have no idea.
You got me there.
Yeah.
Well,
Thanks for asking that question.
You're welcome.
God
But-
damn it.
So it's an OD and what else? Is it a
It's a fuzz, and I don't know what the fuzz is based on.
Okay,
If that's
all
the
right.
next question.
So do you know? Okay. Okay.
Stop this
fucking
right
no.
now. Hit the brakes.
I thought we were done yet. When are we going to move to RJ?
So real quick, what kind of tone options does the OD have and the fuzz have? Like what knobs do you know? Like what kind of potentiometers? Like
Yes,
Control
I do
what?
know, but they're in a bag, right near your feet, I believe.
okay, fair enough.
So
It's in pieces.
I guess I'll have to tune in.
Yeah, we'll
on
have to do
next
the
episode.
update.
tune in next week when I don't have anything done on it.
Okay, RJ, what's new in your world? What's,
Well, soon I'm going to be starting a new YouTube channel, but gear wise, nothing, man. I mean,
what? No, you got your new.
Got some new stuff. I mean, within let's say the last month.
okay. So the last month, okay. So
Start
it was-
over.
Okay, starting all over.
Cut
so
that.
Cut
so
that
it was
out.
my birthday.
Happy birthday.
Thank you. It was
Yeah.
April 1st,
Oh,
believe it or not.
and it's a joke.
It
Your
is a
birthday is-
joke.
I'm just kidding,
a complete joke, but yes, it is. So for my birthday, I got some JHS modulation pedals. I've been on like this modulation search. I've never been a huge fan
Yeah.
of like choruses. Like the only thing I've ever really loved is a Phase 90.
Yeah.
Nice.
in
Can't
the
go wrong
front.
with that.
You know, that's the only thing. And on the Phase 90, I would always turn it to like the lowest possible setting.
Yeah.
You know?
It's my jam.
Yeah, exactly.
Almost
So-
when it's all the way off.
Well, no, it's
like
just
slow, yeah.
super slow.
Yeah.
Okay.
But anyway, so JHS was having to close out on their version 1s of the Unicorn and the Emperor, so for $100 a piece.
Yeah.
So I went ahead and picked both of those up. And
Drop
so far,
2 bills on that.
yeah. I mean,
Damn,
that's
killing
a
it.
killer deal, though. They
Oh, yeah,
got tap
of course.
tempo and everything else. So I ended up really, really liking them. And I think they're going to permanently stay on my board. I thought worst case scenario, I'd flip them, at least get my money back, right?
Yeah.
But they're both amazing.
Yeah. No, they're really cool. So yeah, you
Really awesome.
we like set up the pedal boards. I showed him a bunch of like my Evertune and stuff like that, and then RJ brought his board out, and we went through over all his pedals. He's got a hell of a spread there.
Yeah.
And you got you got those, both those pedals, and plus like you have your Keeley caverns and stuff like that. That was
Yeah, so
really really cool setup, and like there's even like modulations on the caverns, right? You're able to do some of that type of shit.
Well, I also have an Alter Ego X4 by TC, and
Yeah.
all those delays are modulated as well. But no, the caverns has a lot of modulation because you can
There's like 10 knobs on that thing, right?
Oh, dude, it's insane! It's insane,
Crazy.
And
You get
so
lost in
not
there.
only can you get the modulated reverb setting, but then they also have the modulated delay, which is like their mag echo,
Yeah.
I believe, is what the delay is based off of.
All right.
It's just an analog. I think it goes only up to like 750 milliseconds, I want to say.
I mean, like who
I
the
could
fuck
be
would need more than that? But yeah.
Yeah, no. Where versus the Alter Ego goes up to 3 seconds
Yeah. Jesus.
on
Jeez.
some of them. Like if you
You
really
forget you're
tweak them.
playing guitar at that point.
Yeah, no.
Well, oh,
I actually
dude.
have one of those tone prints loaded. We should have gone over it because it's insane. You're playing, oh, is this thing on? And then like 3 seconds later, you're like, oh yeah. Yeah.
Nice. All right. So my what's new. I don't really have a whole lot.
You're so
like,
boring.
Yeah, I'm like trying to sell shit and
God.
like I'm not getting anything moved right now, but I like have all these things that are on the chopping block. I have like, pedals. I have like, like the OCD I'm just going to sell. I was going to try and sell my Chemist and stuff like that. And then, but I'm trying to sell these and I kind of have a goal in mind.
What's that goal, Brian?
I think I want to buy a PS4.
Oh my god!
Wait, what?
Is that a new
was
pedal?
Like left field.
Is that a new pedal
I was-
that's coming out?
I
What is
want to buy a
that?
PlayStation 4
Oh,
because I just saw online an ad for the new Spyro trilogy. The
The
original
remaster,
one.
right?
Remaster, yeah.
I know what's up.
Yeah. I want to get that.
Come
And
over to
then
my
they-
place.
yeah,
we can play
the-
my PS4 anytime.
we ain't getting anything done.
And then
Go
the
over there.
Crash Bandicoot with that too. I'd
I
be
have
done.
that. I already have that because
Fuck, see?
I got that
I'm
as
like jealous as fuck.
a gift because my girlfriend, huge Crash and Spyro.
Yeah, and they're both coming out. So I was like, fuck, I
Well,
don't
no,
have
Crash
any
is
games.
already out.
Crash is out and the
It's been
Spyro's out this
Now
fall.
Crash is coming out for the Switch. That's my next jam.
Really? Okay. Do you
Yes.
you don't have a Switch?
I don't have a Switch yet. I was gonna get one for my birthday. Then circumstances.
Yeah.
didn't
And
allow.
then JHS came around, so
yeah, JHS came around, so I bought spent
priorities.
$200
That's,
on
see,
pedals.
that's where the priority is. You got to get
Exactly.
pedals before the games. So
Exactly.
that's my thing. And then I was like, oh man. And then Spider-Man's coming out. And then like I'm like, look at all these games. I'm like, shit, maybe I should.
God of War's coming out this Friday.
Yeah. Well,
The
and
new
then
one.
and then it also has a Blu-ray player, right? So I'm
Mhm.
like, okay, I don't have any
Yeah.
like because most companies aren't doing DVDs or they're gonna phase that whole thing out. So I got to jump on the Blu-ray game.
Yeah,
So that's my thing. And I was like, yeah. I was like saw the Spyro remaster. I'm like, oh,
it looks
fuck.
beautiful.
Yeah, because I was like,
I haven't even looked at it. I don't know
I was
what you're
like
talking
super into like
Spyro?
Crash Bandicoot and
The
Spyro
dragon?
were my jams back in the
Spyro?
day. So they're doing exactly what marketing is. They're like, oh yeah, everybody who was a kid,
about. This guy wants to see this ad. Boom!
They're-
Oh, he bought one.
they're adults now
Sick.
and they have money.
Oh,
So
yeah.
we're gonna do this again, the same thing. We're just gonna polish it up a little bit, and then they're gonna buy it. And I'm like, whoa!
Yeah.
and I'm buying that shit. So that's kind of what I'm
So-
thinking.
Are you going to get the PS4? Or are you going to get the PS4 Pro?
What's the difference? I guess.
One has a better processor, so it can upscale to 4K.
Oh shit!
Yeah, so there's like $100
Don't tell him
difference.
that.
Which one? Wait, which one do you have? What's your,
So I just have Gen 1 because I got it like when it first came
Yeah.
out. So like when Xbox and all that came out, I just went ahead and got them.
Mhm.
So I have the
Xbox.
VCR Xbox One
Yeah.
because that thing is massive.
Yeah, I have 360.
Yeah.
and a one,
hmm
and whatever's next, I'm getting that too.
Well, they got the Xbox what's it called? I don't even remember, but it's supposed to be really nice. Also, what's cool about the newest Xbox, the highest one, I forget what it's called, the Xbox One S or something.
Yeah.
It or Xbox, I don't know, whatever. One of them has an Ultra Blu-ray player, Ultra HD Blu-ray player.
Oh
in it.
fuck! There's another one.
I mean, the TV that it's going through can't even keep up. So it doesn't
No,
even matter.
yeah, that's my thing too. But which is crazy. You'd think the PlayStation Pro would have the Ultra HD just because Sony Blu-ray, that's their technology, but it doesn't.
Huh?
It's just a plain Blu-ray.
Huh.
This has nothing to do with gear, but interesting.
Well, it is.
Nonetheless.
It's
This
gear.
is gear.
This is gear.
So, but
is like
I feel like
Metal
with the
Gear
stuff that you
Solid
had
could be played.
mentioned, I feel like with the stuff that you mentioned that you're selling, that could be a shorter. I mean, you could probably sell a couple pedals and get a PlayStation.
That's kind of what I have like a good amount of gear, like pedal wise, because I'm like, I have like, some pedals that I'm trying to sell because I'm like, I keep on like, I'm like, I don't need so many fucking drives. I don't need all these like modulation and like, and I was gonna sell the MXR EVH flanger too, and I'm just like looking, I'm like, because I have that utility knife, and I'm like, that has a great,
that thing is awesome,
a great
like,
flanger in there,
it's
great everything like all in one. I'm like, I don't need
Utility knife from Southampton.
Southampton, and I'm like, I bought the Chemist for that reason to have like, okay, a chorus or a phaser on my board. And I'm like, and when the Southampton came in, I'm like, these sound a little bit better. And one thing that the Chemist has on it is like you can use foot switch to be between two effects.
Yeah.
But I'm like,
two different modes.
but if I'm just using it for writing at home or whatever, then I'd rather just like have better sounding effects that I can just twist with a knob
For sure.
and get
and tracking.
What's really nice about Brian is he gives me a shot like, do you like this pedal? And if I say no, he's like, all right.
Yeah, so they're on chopping block. OCD's on the way out.
So-
Chemist on the way out.
Real quick, I don't think you guys answered this, and I'm not sure. How do you sell your pedals? Are you a reverb guy?
I'm gonna put it on Reverb and then also Craigslist. I prefer Craigslist because you can get it sold quicker. You don't have to deal with people. Like if like
I mean, you literally have to meet the person.
okay, hold on. Okay, take that back. Hold on.
All right, Brian, start over, please.
Shithead. You don't have to deal with the person after the fact,
Hostile.
right? Like once you're done, you're done. Like they're in it.
Dude, I've had some nightmare.
I met up a guy in a
sales.
parking lot, sold him like he rolled up on a bike, and I met him in a Vaughn's parking lot, and then I gave him the pedal, he gave me the cash, and he rolled off. And I'm like, I'll never have to see that dude again.
Yeah.
Like he doesn't even know where I live, doesn't know anything. I'm like, and I don't know where he lives.
Can't even chase you in a car. Like if you were in a car.
Yeah. So
Yeah.
whereas
Rude.
Reverb, I haven't had any bad
I've
situations.
had like 3.
And I'm like, but the thing is, they could be like bitch about it. I'm like, this came in broken. I don't know. I'm gonna bitch at you. You're gonna get no stars, and then Reverb's gonna refund me my money because buyer's always right. And I was like, that's one thing about Reverb. I have never had that, but I've heard of horror stories.
I had a whammy that I sold on there, like the pedal by Digitech, and apparently it got sent to the wrong address. So not only was I out the pedal, I was also out the money.
What?
Because I had to give him a refund.
Why? Oh God, did he give you the wrong address, or it was delivered to the wrong address?
So technically, I think he gave the wrong address and then like changed it. Like basically, it literally like is a matter of like, I think it was like just his next door neighbor. Because I asked him, I was like, well, according to me, it got delivered at this address. It's like, well, that's my neighbors, and they say they don't have it.
I'm pretty sure they fucking do. It's like
Where was it? Was it far? Was it like? Where was it? Where was the address?
Somewhere in the United States.
Like
Let's go.
Ohio.
Let's go. Let's go.
I've had one where I'm like, I sold like a preamp or something, like some Personas or whatever, to a guy, and he was like, I really want it like this weekend. I'm staying at my grandparents. Can you next day air it to me? I'll pay you this much money to next day air it to my grandparents. I'm like, I'm leaving on Wednesday. I'm like, it was like a Monday or like Tuesday afternoon. I'm like,
it's still not going to get there.
I'm like, dude, it was like Monday afternoon. I'm like, dude, there's a very fucking big chance it's not going to get to you.
Yeah.
So now then your grandparent or whoever you're staying with is going to have
to
it.
ship it to you.
And then I'm like, dude, it's like a way bigger, like, I'm just going to ship it to your house that you provided for me. I'm just going to charge you the normal shipping. And I'm like, if you can't do it, I'm going to cancel this. And he's like, I guess that makes sense. I'm like, yeah. Cause I told him like, dude, I don't want to deal with the hassle.
Well,
Cause
they
like
can
some
get
people
in trouble. Like you can get in trouble for not shipping to the address that is on said account.
Okay,
like,
that's good to know then.
Like I've known like, okay, so for instance, my Cabernita that I have, the Telecaster, I was an idiot and accidentally, this was when I was still living in Texas and my girlfriend was living in Murrieta.
Yeah.
I didn't realize when I checked out and was shipped it to Murrieta and not Texas.
Yeah.
And I was like, can we change that? He's like, dude, if I do that, I could be liable for like so much stuff. You're going to have to cancel the order and then reorder it.
Yeah.
And so that's what I ended up having to do. Luckily, the guy was super awesome. He put it back up, but like put it up for like $2,000, some ridiculous amount.
Yeah,
for
yeah.
like
So nobody's going to buy it.
Nobody's going to buy it. And then did a made offer. I gave him the offer that he originally asked.
Yeah.
And shipped it to the correct address. But no, if it doesn't match what's on your Reverb account, you can get in some trouble.
Yeah. Okay.
Like,
yeah. Because I'm like, I haven't had anything bad, but I'm like, I honestly, maybe I've just like, just been lucky, but I haven't had any bad things. Like I prefer to sell on Craigslist because guess what? You meet up a person, they give you cash, buy. Never
Other than no shows, I've never had like a crazy.
Yeah. Usually it's just
Craigslist.
I just deal with flakes. That's that's the biggest thing with Craigslist.
Yeah. You'll
But
deal with a lot
I
of
much
them.
prefer cash in hand, meet the person. Here you go. Meet at some like parking lot, never see you again.
Call it
Boom.
good.
There
Yeah,
you go.
for sure.
Yeah, I just buy on Reverb. I haven't sold anything.
Yeah, it's so
I
far
buy a
it's,
lot on Reverb.
so far it's so good. But yeah, no, it's like gonna sell some things, and I'm thinking I think a PS4 is kind of what I want. Maybe
All
by
right.
September is gonna be my
I'll help
thing.
facilitate you on that.
just real quick, can you get a Crunchyroll on that? Do you know? Do you do Crunchyroll?
I don't want to.
I don't pay for Crunchyroll. I watch some things because Crunchyroll has usually
The free
subtitled
version.
subtitled anime where I prefer dubbed just because I like to.
Good on you. I know that from what I've taken from all that, like that scene is a lot of people don't like that. They're the exact opposite. They don't like the
There's
dub.
more.
They like
There's
the subtitle.
There's a lot more snobs in anime when it comes to subtitle because everybody's like, this is from Japan. This is how it's supposed to be. I'm like, I like the voice actors.
Yeah, but you don't understand Japanese.
I don't understand what they're saying.
Yeah.
But I like one thing that I like about supporting the dub industry is anime is that these are American companies that people like that's their job is they're voice actors. Like they're doing some of these guys and gals are like cutting their teeth on these shows like and they're cranking them out like every week. They're doing the simuldubs, they're doing all this stuff out. And so that's why I pay for Funimation, I pay for High Dive. So like those are the dub ones. Like Kiss Anime or like, don't go to Kiss Anime. I'll bleep that out. Crunchyroll, I don't really go to that one because it's only subtitles and I'm like, but they do have apps for High Dive and Funimation on PS4. So that'd be cool. Because I will watch everything on either on my phone or my laptop. So I'd prefer to like if I had a TV, I don't own a TV, but if I had one, I'm like, I can use a PS4 and watch TV on a TV and watch a show. That's why I'm like, there's a lot of pluses for getting a PS4 that I'm like,
dude, at this point for me, it's a glorified streamer.
Yeah.
Like I do my Hulu, all my TVs through that.
Yeah, and you can do YouTube and all that stuff through there
and
too.
Side note, they put up the sub version of Cowboy Bebop on Hulu.
Okay, yeah.
So I was originally watching it, or no, I'm sorry, the dubbed.
Oh shit!
I was
there you go.
originally watching the sub on Amazon Prime because Prime, like you have to pay for the dubbed version, but the sub is free
with Prime. Yeah.
Yeah, but they put it on Hulu, so I've been watching that. I'm kind of liking it.
See, I like it. I like it that you're telling me that you watch anime, but you make fun of me for watching anime.
Oh, 100%.
Yeah.
So, like, my girlfriend, huge Miyazaki fan.
Yeah.
Speaking of which, last weekend they had a art show of Miyazaki, like fan art,
Okay.
in downtown San Diego. I heard it was really awesome.
Yeah.
Just
I think that's like a lot of anime fans. We make fun of each other and we're like self-loathing anime fans. So that's why I'm like, I think it's funny. It's like you and Steve 60 Cycle take the piss out of me for like an anime, but it's all right. We're all good.
What about me? Am I chopped liver?
I was going to say, I'm sure Kyle gives you a bunch of shit all the time.
I think Kyle just hates me for whatever I do. So he'll find any reason.
Drink that beer, stupid.
You stupid head.
Stupid moron face.
Stupid man.
Your
That's
IPAs.
what you would be. Yeah. Okay, so let's get into. I wanted to do like a little interview, like a little Q&A with you, and then we're gonna do a couple topics at the end.
Sure.
So, are you ready, RJ?
Sure. Yeah. No. Yeah, what's up?
Okay. Oh shit! I wasn't ready for this. I thought we were just hanging out. Okay, so let's bring it back to the beginning. So what got you into music? What was the catalyst for you? Like you're now really into guitar and music and videos and stuff like that. So what inspired you? What was your like first music that you got into?
Oh, dude, that's really hard to say. So my family has always loved music. None of them are musicians. None of them. But they've all loved music. My grandfather's like classic country.
Yeah.
But some of my earliest, like fondest memories is like the first time, and this is going to sound so like just terrible, but the first time I heard the solo from My Little Demon by Fleetwood Mac on the Dance album on tape in my aunt's Grand Cherokee blew my mind. Like I've always been a huge fan of like Nirvana. Like my aunt has the most eclectic taste in music, and I totally give her props because like that's just, dude, go from Fleetwood Mac, and she also introduced me like bands like Danzig.
Yeah.
Okay. like mother,
grandmother.
Yeah. So I mean, it all just boils down to like I've always wanted to pick up an instrument, but it wasn't until like I was probably in like 7th grade where I was like, dude, I want one. And there was this local shop that was selling these like just terrible instruments.
Yeah.
Terrible instruments. And I bought an acoustic that I did nothing with for like the first 2 years of owning it.
Oh, okay.
One of those things that just sat there. I broke a string and never did anything with it.
So what made you like want to start playing guitar then?
So my freshman year, I found out I was living in Corona, California.
Yeah.
Freshman year, I found out I was moving to Texas. Like that following summer, I was moving to Texas. So I did everything that a rebellious teenager would. And one of those things was like I really got into music, kind of, but I also did stuff like with like friends. But what it really was is when I did make that move, that first summer, I fucking was by myself in Texas. Didn't know anybody.
Where in Texas?
Weatherford. So it's just outside of like Fort Worth, like
All
about
right.
20 minutes outside of Fort Worth, west of Fort Worth. Basically, it lies in between of like Fort Worth and Abilene.
Okay.
So basically, I was fucking alone. So what did I do? I didn't really have any gaming consoles because I actually sold my gaming consoles to buy my first electric guitar.
Yeah.
So like I just looked up tabs, and that's just like what started it, really, as far as, playing music. And so I didn't have any friends.
He's got me
So
and
I
music were the
I
only
just
friends.
picked up guitar.
Nice. So we're like, so you're doing that for a little while. Like, what were some like early projects for you? Did you ever play with like some of your friends? Did you get a band going?
Sure. So probably I had tried to do like a couple like really terrible hardcore metal bands, or like some like even like some terrible like in Texas at the time. What like was a big thing was like, I don't know if you ever heard of like Sky Eats Airplane.
No.
They're awful.
Okay.
But they're like
I want to look that up now.
oh, you should listen to the old stuff that when they were a 2-piece band. It was worse.
Is it impossible to be a 2-piece band?
Yeah, it was like most of their stuff was like programmed. Like the drums were programmed, but they're like a middle, like not middle, like they're like that whole emo, screamo kind of hardcore.
It's like the minimum amount of people to be a band, I think. Probably,
oh, absolutely. Right? Especially with that genre. I don't, like I said, most of it was just like a track that they're playing.
It's like
with a guitar, like, and some vocals. So I joined that, but like the one band that I really stuck with, and actually like still to this day, I joined this like post grunge band called Fractured.
Okay, yeah.
And I was a bass player in it. Okay.
Sick.
Yeah.
So you started picking up the bass, and you're
Yeah. So I picked up the bass and I played, and it really sent me down this path. I was like, oh, more bands need bass players than guitarists. Well,
yeah.
shit. I'm gonna get on that train because then I can play with people. Nobody wants a 5th guitarist in the band,
Sick. Okay, cool.
And so I actually met my friend Bobby, who is like my Kyle.
Yeah.
He's like my
Bobby.
Bobby. You can actually probably he does a lot of gaming stuff. You should check him out. It's Cowboy8625. Just shout out YouTube. Check that out.
Okay, check it
I
out.
feel like Minecraft and stuff. And this this mic stand's getting lower and
That's
lower.
getting limp. Oh wait, let's
Yeah.
raise it up.
It's gone limp again.
Do you want
Going limp on me.
to pause, or is it going to make a lot of noise if I just?
We'll roll with it.
Okay.
I'll use what I need to.
Okay, fair enough. Fair
I
enough.
want to make it funny.
All right.
Want to grab me a beer while we're at this?
Yeah,
Right.
we're already fucking cast out of the bag right now.
All right. we're
Fourth
gonna move
wall's
that.
been broken again.
Whatever.
Going.
Hey, sure. Fucking Deadpool. That's like all the biz. So you know what? Way to be meta, bro.
Yeah,
You know.
I get it. There are no walls.
Anyways, so he was that was like my quote unquote gigging.
Yeah.
Was, through there I played a lot of like little clubs, and I was playing like a Schecter Omen 5-string,
What?
Yeah.
Going real crazy.
Getting low.
That's right.
Yeah.
Yeah, because like I bought like an $80 Rogue bass to get started with,
Yeah.
and like the tuners broke like the first time tuning it out.
What?
Yeah,
You're like,
it-
this thing's
garbage.
a
It
piece
was
of
an 80.
shit.
Yeah, it was fucking just garbage. But no, Schecter Omen, and I did that for a long time, and that kind of just sparked several things with Bobby. He then got into like mainly country stuff.
Okay.
So then I started doing like a lot of country covers and that other than that, like playing live, the only person I've ever really played live with other than by myself is with him
Yeah.
in some fashion or
some type
form.
of band, whether it's metal or country, stuff like that.
Yeah, so for me what I really got into was when I moved to Texas, I went to a charter school.
Okay.
Small school. Like, I mean, I'm talking about like 120 students for the entire school.
Yeah.
All 9th through 12th, right? So, of course, there was no football team, no nothing like that. But they had a film program.
Okay.
And I, like, really got into that, started shooting stuff with, them. But mainly, I just wanted to do music. I wanted to score film. Like, I thought that was just awesome. Like,
Yeah.
that was my thing. So, I've always leaned more towards the studio, like,
Side of things. Yeah.
side of things. That's always fascinated me more. Plus, I'm too shit of a player to like really practice and play on a daily basis.
Yeah. So like,
I've always been creative. I've always wanted to create music, not necessarily like go out and play the same like 30 songs in a catalog.
Yeah.
That I have.
So yeah, no,
They're like 50, so yeah, we know what you're talking.
Oh no, I've gone through some of your guys' stuff. Like you guys been doing it for a while.
Mhm.
So like I'm sure that helps. Like if you really want to change it up, you could.
Yeah, we could throw back to like old stuff and
Yeah.
it's a
Don't give Brian any ideas. We're not going back.
we're not going back. We're always moving forward. Always
Gonna
looking
start wearing
forward.
the ties
Ain't
again.
stopping this train.
Yeah, yeah. If I could fit my fat ass into my old clothes, yeah, we wear that. But no, we ain't doing that. So like, okay, so you talked about how you wanted to like do more studio stuff. Like, what kind of sparked that? Like, you're more into film, and you were like telling me, telling us earlier that you're starting up a YouTube channel. So how about before we get into that, like what are some early projects for you for film? Because you've done music videos before, you've done like some live stuff with like live players. Like what sparked the mixing, like video, visual, and like was that mainly school or was that like?
So it was school, but honestly, like I was very much into YouTube in the early days.
Yeah, so you were one of
Like,
the first ones to get
dude,
on
like
it.
I only got into Orange because I saw Rob Chapman with his terrible hairdo way back in the day, like no mics or anything.
Yeah, just
playing
like
between that and like I said, my school did. So basically my school had the film project, but they also did a yearly film where anybody, even if you weren't taking film, could get involved.
yeah.
You could be an actor, you can work on set, whatever. So I also did that. I did more the behind the scenes stuff, like shot a couple, films and stuff like that, learning the equipment. And I've always been a nerd with like how shit works and how to get a certain thing, whether it's pedals, like getting a certain tone or getting a certain like cinematic look.
Yeah.
I guess you could say, with, cameras. And so that's how it started. And I started doing the music for that. And that started picking up to where the point where then I got old enough and my film teacher, who was also my history teacher,
Yeah.
he's like, dude, I also do like stuff outside. It's more adult, like it's, stuff like that. So I started doing like actual quote unquote indie films or low budget films outside of school. And it just kind of picked up to the point where I think I've done like 12 or 13 films.
Okay, cool.
3 of them are like documentaries. And I've also done a video game.
Oh shit. Okay.
Nothing big. It's like mainly all educational stuff that I've done. And that just kind of like, and with that being able to record music, I had to learn what all the equipment is, like what's an interface. Cause I started off with like I think it was like a Zoom, like 4-track digital recorder.
Yeah.
Where it had this like proprietary memory card that was just garbage.
Oh, fucking A.
Garbage.
God.
It sucked, but that was my first start. And then I started getting into interfaces and, digital, stuff like that to, like just try to record my ideas.
You're like learning both the audio production side of things and also doing the film and how those go together.
And then just growing as a musician. Cause
all the while,
this is where is where, I'm like, oh, well, dude, if it's a score, it's got to have orchestral strings in it. Fucking A. Like, it can't just be like band music.
Yeah.
Which actually some of my favorite like scores are like not band related, but like John Murphy stuff, who does like Sunshine, the film, and did was it 30 Days Later, or was that zombie film?
It honestly can be like a big
28 days later. That's what I'm fucking talking about.
It's February. It's 28 days.
Yeah, there's like a thing too. It's like with like scores can be a big thing. Like you don't have to have like strings or whatever too. It's like you said, it's like totally like music can be like an aggressive like punk rock or thing too. So like, that's kind of cool that you're learning that as well as you're doing that. So you're not only learning the visual, the audio side, the technical, but you're learning music. And then what was like, I guess like your first project that you kind of had like your major hand in it? Was it like, anything that like really like sparked it for you that you're like, oh shit, this is what I want to do? Or was there a moment, or was it just kind of like as you're doing it, you're like, yeah, I'm building the whole way?
It was honestly, it was more of like, hey, I got this project. Oh, well, I'm working on this project, but sure, I'll do that too, and I just like started doing it. But I think like, let's see here. I think what really, really set me off was a film called White Whale. And it was a film about like a school shooting. Okay. But like, it was based off, basically the inspiration behind it was based off the quote by the FBI, who after Columbine did all these like exams of like people and like school shootings, like whatever. And like, they're just trying to figure out like a profile for like said school shooters. And they came out with this thing called, or this like quote in this like big old like document basically saying, well, actually come to find out there really is no profile for a school shooter. So the premise was, it was like a concept film where the same scenes kept happening over, but for different reasons, but it was all like played by a different actor, even though it was the same character, it was a different actor. Yeah. Whether it was female, male, whatever. Anyways, so there was a project behind it, or there was this thing where, okay, so have you guys seen The Punisher with, I think, Thomas Jane as the Punisher? I have not. Okay. No. So what that's mainly popular for is See There's Broken with Amy Lee. You guys know that terrible song? Yeah. Like that terrible song. But he like literally was like, dude, I want a song like that. Like I want a song that is written for the film, but it's a full band. And that's what I want. Like, I want that. That's going to be the main feature. And so I can't sing for shit. Yeah. Like, I know I'm a bad singer. I have no control of my voice whatsoever. I can hear that I'm out of tune, but I don't know how to fix it with my voice. Yeah. Guitar, I can do that. Bass, whatever. Yeah. But voice, I can. So I always had to get a singer. But I ended up, that was the first time I like wrote a lyrics to a song.
Okay, that's cool.
And I based it off the script that I read.
Very cool.
And actually, that I sent you that YouTube video last night.
Is it I think there was a couple. There was like the country guy. Was that the?
No, not the country guy. I sent you last night, and then you got distracted by my paddleboard.
Yeah,
video
yeah. Like I saw, like you sent me a video, and then I was like, oh shit, RJ's like pedal rig build.
yeah, and so he ended up clicking there and said, anyways, that song, which is called "My Atoned Faults," that was like the first song I wrote strictly for that thing. And it actually sparked this whole thing of like, well, the reason why I couldn't write lyrics is because I'm not one of those people who can like truly write about my life, because I just like, I'm always depressed. So like, it's fucking always sad.
Yeah.
But if I have a subject matter to write, this case being the script, I can interpret that and write it. And so ever since then, that's how I write all my lyrics.
Yeah.
But point being is, that was the first time I worked with several people on that song. So I wrote the lyrics, the bass, the guitar, the drums, or not the drums, the bass. And then I had my friend do drums and the guitar solo.
Yeah.
Then I found this awesome singer in Houston.
Yeah.
By the name of Justin Rowland, who is actually really huge in like the worship scene now. Like he has Yeah, I was telling you about it. He's got like a top 10 billboards in the worship scene, like song album out and stuff.
Yeah.
But this is before he got like, all fancy and
it was just
big
like
time.
Before he was just
but
like
he had a super powerful voice, and that was the one song that I was like, dude, I really want to do this. And it was also the first song that I truly like mixed from the ground up.
Mm-hmm.
like guitar tones and etc.
Everything you kind of had your hands in. Yeah,
it was super inspiring, and it made me realize that like I've never been a strong player, but I've always liked the production of things. Like I've always been like, I feel like my strong abilities go towards like just production, like the actual composing of the song,
the actual putting your hands in the final product,
yeah. Like I can tell you what goes good in a meal. I just can't cook half the shit.
Yeah. There you go. Yeah, that's cool. So that kind of brings you along to what you're working on now. So you're here, and you're doing everything that you've learned in the past. So it's like music, it's video, it's like some composition, and you're working on a YouTube channel that you're doing now.
Yeah,
but you're trying to like do your own thing with it, because there's a million fucking guitar YouTubers.
Yeah,
there's music YouTubers and fucking shit like that. But you want to do your own thing. Mm-hmm. And from what I've seen so far that you've sent me, it's like, okay, you're kind of, if I'm wrong, correct me. It's like you're kind of trying to be like,
you're wrong.
Yeah, you want to be like vloggy. You don't want to be like demo-y. Like you want to like have things of like maybe like guitarist on a budget, guitarist on a shoestring budget. It's like something from like, okay, like we're all working. We're all trying to do shit, unless you're like fucking big and signed. But it's like most of those people aren't watching YouTube videos. But the people who are people who are like on a shoestring budget. They're trying to make things work. They want to get good tone, and they want to play and like compose their own music. So you're coming at it from that aspect.
Yeah. So like for me, like as far as the vlogging, like my biggest inspiration is like Wampler, Brian Wampler.
Mm-hmm.
Like his videos, they're more educational than they are just strictly demos.
Yeah,
like, hey, you ever wonder what it's like to put an overdrive before a compressor? Yeah. Like it's instructional, it's informative.
Yeah.
And also, like the budget thing, I'm fortunate enough to have a really cool setup. I'm very happy with it. Not everybody can afford that, but also, so when I moved, this is kind of also where it came from. So when I moved back to San Diego last year, or moved to California from Texas to, live here, I just flew with like shit that I could fit in a suitcase. So I didn't have any of my gear.
Yeah. And you sold a lot of it too.
And I sold a lot of it. Like I had a full on like studio at my, in Texas.
Yeah.
Like not just a recording studio, like a video like videography and everything.
Yeah.
Like it was awesome. But when I moved here, I didn't have anything. And then like 6 months later, I went back to Texas, and I was only able to bring one guitar with me,
Okay. Yeah.
Like that was it. But in that meantime, I wasn't able to bring any of my effect pedals. So it was just a matter of, I was only able to bring my guitar, couldn't bring any of my amps. So I ended up buying a Black Star Fly Rig 3. And it's got, a clean channel, a distortion, battery operated, or you can do powered, and built-in delay.
Yeah.
And it really taught me I can get these tones without my huge ass pedal board.
Yeah.
And it sounds awesome. And I really enjoy it. And it's just, it made me play a completely different way. And I was just like, do I need, cause at the time I literally had a pedal board I made it myself, but it was, about the size of what's the biggest pedal train that they make? The 42.
The
Jesus. 42 inch, huge, just ridiculous.
Yeah.
And I learned that I don't necessarily need that to sound good, and I don't necessarily need that to be creative.
There you go.
And so that kind of taking that aspect. Now, eventually I was able to get most of my gear, my pedals. I ended up buying an amp here. That's a whole nother story. But
I mean, that whole absence of gear made you look at it a totally different way, and I thought that's pretty cool. So you're able to okay, once you get your stuff back here, you're able to okay, well, I could sell stuff I don't
go to that
need
minimalist,
anymore.
kind of
and then you're able to build back up, maybe because of knowledge that you have now of what you're seeking. Okay, there, I know what I want in a delay.
Yeah, I know 60 fucking drives on my board.
I know what I want.
Use pedals or
Yeah, you know what I want a drive to sound like. I know what this and so that's kind of cool. It's you grew up
grow the
fuck
up, RJ.
Yeah, so at that fucking point, it was more of I just need a fucking guitar. I'm going batshit insane because, like I said, when I was a kid, didn't have a lot of friends. I always went to music.
Yeah.
And I I have an issue with anxiety and depression. So I channel that through my music, as fucking cliche as that sounds.
Yeah.
But it really was. And so those months that I didn't have any of my gear here, I was going insane.
Oh shit. Yeah.
And so I was just so appreciative to have a fucking guitar and a $60 battery powered fucking amp that I didn't give a shit. I was rocking out,
Nice. So so we bring it back to the YouTube. What are you trying to do with your new channel that you're working on?
So what with my new channel,
what's the summary? What's the kind of the whole thing?
It's gonna be kind of like a smorgasbord, but I have a few series planned, but one of them I want to do is essentially it's literally a working title, and I'll probably still use it, is Keep It Simple Stupid.
Yeah.
And it's just oh, you like this genre? Well, here's a pedal board that you can buy 3 pedals, and that will pretty much cover that genre.
Yeah.
To the fullest extent. And whether it's punk, rock, whatever the case
almost like
may
a rig
be.
rundown kind of thing.
Kind of a more like a sounds like by Andertons.
Yeah.
I love that series. Love that series.
And they love the DSL 40. Yeah,
they fucking do.
Go on.
Yeah, the DSL 40 or the tweaker.
Yeah,
they use that Egnator tweaker a lot.
Yeah,
but no, the fact of also I live in fucking San Diego.
Yeah.
I live in downtown San Diego.
Oh shit.
And I think it's the 4th most expensive city to live in.
Yeah.
In the US right now.
Yeah, and you're also not to bring too much light into it, but you're in an apartment too. So you're looking at it of
not just an apartment, a studio that I share with my girlfriend.
So you're okay, we want to make these get all these tones and all these sounds out of a smaller budget and a smaller board, and space is key. Space is at a premium here. Yeah, so man. That's pretty cool. So I'm what other things are you trying to work on with other types of?
So I want to do that, and honestly, I'll do a couple demos. There's a few demos that I want to do, but that's not necessarily going to be the focus of my channel.
Yeah.
I'm hoping to do more just talking videos, just
really keeping
topics.
Gear, guitar related, right?
Yeah, exactly. For instance, I want to do just like, if something comes up in the gear world, obviously I'd like to talk about it. Not to like jump on bandwagons like the fucking whole PRS bullshit.
Yeah.
Oh, let's
Silver
talk about
Sky.
that, actually.
Really?
Silver Sky is super sick.
And we're like 2 months behind. Let's
I
talk
know.
about it. Breaking
Yeah,
news.
No shit. But I think it's just more like, another thing, because I'm self-taught in the production side of things, I watch a lot of YouTubers, and I'm actually going to do one inspired by a guy named Graham Cochran who does, oh shit, I'm forgetting his YouTube.
Is this more video?
Recording Revolution.
Okay.
This is for music.
Okay.
And he's a producer, and he did an entire entire song recorded on his phone. Now, I'm not talking about he had an interface that he plugged up to his phone. No, he fucking used the mic on his phone and published that shit on YouTube.
Oh shit! Really?
And it sounds actually really good, like for what it is. Even you wouldn't have necessarily known that it was just done on his phone.
Yeah.
It was mixed, mastered, everything on his phone.
Oh, that's
It was
crazy.
Uploaded.
Jesus.
Yeah, it's crazy, and it's just like that inspires me because like I know what it's like to grow up with like a shit setup.
Yeah.
Like I started off with like a like I said, a Zoom 4-track recorder. It's no better than a 4-track tape machine.
Yeah.
Essentially. Actually, the fucking tape machine would have been a better investment because at least I think the maximum upload time for the Zoom was like 12 minutes.
Oh geez.
Oh, it was awful.
Better make sure you get that
And
song
it had
right.
it had like this adapter that you'd plug up to your computer, and then like it had their own proprietary like software to then move said song to like a WAV file and
Oh,
shit.
God.
It was awful.
Fucking damn. Yeah.
Awful.
Dang.
But like the fact that he did it on his iPhone, and right now, as like you said, space is a premium where I live. So I have a very small setup, and honestly, like I do want to get back into my like camera gear that I don't have anymore. Like I want to get back into that.
Yeah.
But honestly, like there's something amazingly convenient and awesome about just using your iPhone. And there are things out there. There are plenty of tools out there to where you can put out great looking stuff on your iPhone
Yeah.
if you just know how to use it.
Yeah. And
You have to know how to use
I
it.
think this is like several iPhones ago, maybe an iPhone 5 or whatever. It's like a friend showed me this huge, like this crazy looking video. And he was like, yeah, their whole big claim to fame is that it was done with an iPhone.
Oh, you're talking about Tangerine, the film?
Possibly. I have no
So
idea.
Tangerine actually got like awards, like it got Oscars and shit.
Yeah.
And it was 100% recorded on an iPhone.
Yeah.
That it was shot completely on an iPhone. And it was like one of the most beautiful films. It's a weird film. It's about transvestites.
Yeah.
Totally weird film. I tried to watch it. I couldn't get into it, but the fact that like they're shooting on the iPhone, I'm like,
yeah, the whole like cinematography of everything you can really appreciate.
yeah. And now granted, I'm like 99% sure that wasn't edited on the iPhone.
Yeah.
But like, like you can even do that.
Even
like,
getting the rough footage, it's like we were talking about like with the podcast, sometimes I'll get stuff just recorded on a Zoom and then I'll edit it in Pro Tools. Like
Yeah.
that can make a huge difference too. So even if you get your rough files and take them somewhere to get edited, that's cool too.
yeah.
It's like when we've done like 3 albums where we recorded with an M-Box. Mm-hmm. 2.
Oh yeah.
And
Old school.
And it's like the thing is like we get
Alright.
like good sounding files coming in and good sounding, like waveforms in, and then we mix them and master them at a big studio. It's like we save so much more money, and it's like it sounds great.
Oh, yeah,
so it's like that's where like the
definitely.
money, and like it's kind of like I really like that. So it's like from our aspect, we're working at trying to make music and albums on like our own terms, our own budgets. Like we don't need to like drop like 20 G's on an album. You can do maybe a couple thousand and get like a full length album. And I think that's kind of cool, like doing it from like the video and production side of things, and even just like
Yeah.
the home player type thing. So you can get really good sounds and really good songs recorded in home really cheap nowadays.
It's honestly just a matter of having the patience to learn the tools that you do have instead of fantasizing over the tools that you want.
Yeah. It's like you don't need all these big things to sound good.
Mastering what you have.
Exactly. It really so like my camera rig and that I'll be using for the majority of the videos is, like I said, my iPhone 7 Plus. I do have a lens that I bought that makes it wide angle.
Nice.
Not a crazy amount of money. I spent like $10 on this lens.
There you go.
$10.
Really?
Yeah. And I have like a tripod adapter to put my iPhone in on like an actual tripod.
Yeah.
And then I have a little iRig interface that I can plug a mic up to.
There you go. That's cool.
And, that's like, there's, one thing to have like an interface or like these incredible mic pre's. It's also another thing just to have the convenience of
capturing what you need in the moment. I think that's
in
really
the
cool.
moment, and you can set. It takes 5 seconds to set up, and like I showed you in that pedal board,
Yeah.
the new one that I'm going to be posting. It looks great, and it was shot on my iPhone. And honestly, what made that video though is I had lighting.
Yeah, lighting, I've heard, is the big thing.
Like, if you have great lighting, you don't need a Canon T6i. Even if you have like a Canon T6i, which is still a relative budget camera, like the ISO is shit without having a lighting kit. Like any expensive camera, unless it's specifically designed for low light, is going to be shit without a lighting kit.
Okay, so we kind of glossed over it, but what is your outlet going to be called? Where can people find you?
So it will be Teletalks with an exclamation point.
Okay.
You can find me on Instagram and YouTube at that. Also, I did start a group because everybody needs another gear group to join. You can just follow me on there. Now, right now, there's nothing up, but by the time this goes live, I believe I should have a few up.
Okay, there you go. So
then,
this is going to be like calling you out. You better get this shit out.
I better get my shit done. Yeah.
So check out Telly Talks. Make sure to follow him. We're putting it out there that he's going to have this stuff done and out by the airing of this episode.
That, or you're just never going to air the episode.
Or just let Brian know, and he'll cut this part out.
Yeah,
completely. Just cut the entire episode. Fuck it.
Just abort. We're done. Okay, so I was going to get into a couple topics. Are you ready to roundtable some things here?
Maybe.
Okay, so since kind of the feel of the episode is some like YouTube and some gear YouTube thing.
Sure.
What about I know you said you were going to do some of them, but gear demos.
Mm-hmm.
Let's talk about that. What do you look for, and what do you like in YouTube demos? What are some things that you don't like? And then we'll also talk about people what are some of your favorite YouTube demos?
So,
and who fucking sucks? We're gonna do that too.
Okay, yeah. So, what I look for, it really depends on the mood that I'm in. I'm dude, this is my form of entertainment. So, I watch this shit it's like my favorite show, and honestly, I think everybody starts off with Andy PGS, his demos are to the point, but they're fucking great because you know what you're getting with that. I feel like it's one of the greatest examples of showcasing a pedal.
Yeah, because he's very well-rounded player.
Yeah, and the only guy who I've ever listened to who can not use a pick and still sound fucking amazing with just rock guitar.
Yeah, and he's he's definitely a rock guy. He's definitely a rock player and stuff like that. And he's
I like his choice of examples just because
it showcases the pedal really well.
It showcases the pedal really well, and he can do multiple genres.
And his job for a while was to sell a pedal, and he did that a lot because he's like, I'm gonna show you every feature and benefit of this thing. I'm gonna show you what you can get out of it, and then this is the link to Pro Guitar Shop to buy it, or now at Reverb or whatever.
Yeah,
and I really like that because he also always showed it off too with different guitars.
That too,
like a Les Paul or a
Telly, or he likes that Reverend that he always plays with P90s,
GNL Strat.
Yes,
yeah.
GNL
so it was
Strat.
he always kind of did something with that.
And he always goes through a deluxe. Well, the early stuff, he did a
65 Soho.
65, yeah, 65 Soho. No, but I've bought a few pedals because of said demos. I've immediately watched the demo and I've bought fucking pedals. So,
Yeah.
and that it's actually funny because like it's like PGS, I can't imply enough how much like it influenced me with like getting into pedals
Yeah.
because the first pedal that like I had owned pedals before that, but I like sold them. Like I've owned like garbage pedals like the Nano Clone or like Dan Electro crap or like I think the only dirt pedal or like the original 250 OD
Yeah.
or like you guys ever heard of the Tweak Fuzz by Seymour Duncan?
Yeah.
Yeah, like, you know, stuff like that. But like then I sold it all because I was always like a straight into the amp guy. That was especially back then because I was like in my like punk stage. Like I grew up listening to like Bad Religion and
Yeah. You're like, I don't want this shit.
yeah, just fucking turn it up and turn it loud.
Yeah.
But their demo of the Love Pedal OD11, the signature edition that they did that Sean did for Pro Guitar Shop.
Okay.
That was the first pedal that really started my pedal collecting.
Nice. Okay. Yeah. I think for me, the first pedal I saw from Andy was one of my favorite pedals, actually. To piggyback off
The
you.
Miku again?
No, yeah. Oh no, the Miku. Yeah.
No, Rob Champman's got that beat. Like, say what you will about them, but their demo of the Miku was just, I died laughing.
Well, you had the Miku like here, like live in the flesh.
Mm-hmm.
You
But anyways,
got some good tones out of that, actually.
it was actually pretty
some
damn
good moments.
Yeah.
Anyway, yeah. No, the pedal that I saw from Pro Guitar Shop that I had to have was the Mad Professor Sweet Honey Overdrive. That's my favorite overdrive.
Dude, Mad Professor makes some awesome shit.
And the thing is, they demoed the hand-wired version, which was like, their like buku bucks type thing.
Yeah.
And then I was like, oh, fuck, I really want that. I can't afford that until I saw that they had like a PCB version. Like, okay, cool. And then I ended up, buying that one and using it for years. And then like Mad Professor Sweet Honey has fallen way out of fashion. And then I got a hand-wired version on Reverb for under $90 shipped.
Really?
Because like they're just like
I mean, yeah, because don't they like
hand-wired? And I was like, oh my God, this is the one that I fucking wanted back back in 2011 or whatever.
When they're like $400 pedals, right? The hand wired, like
Yeah.
they're
They were up there.
they're PlayStation 4.
Yeah. So I bought it for like, under $90 and I was like, and then I sold my other one, I sold it for like $85.
Mm-hmm.
My, PCB version. I was like, to a dude who rolled up on a bike in a parking lot and he just zoomed off with it.
On Craigslist,
yeah, Craigslist-y type deal. And he was stoked on it. I'm like, honestly, this is a great fucking pedal, but I have the hand-wired version that like it weighs twice as much. And as I
Did
look
you
at it.
compare the two? They sound...
Yeah, the hand-wired version is not as loud, but I'm never getting it past, more than Unity.
But it's warmer?
Anyways.
Is it just... Is it... I mean,
Yeah, no,
tone,
there's not a whole lot of difference. Just the fact that I know this is the one that I always wanted. That's it. That's only reason.
Lamest story ever.
It's like,
I mean, I get it because that's what you want. Like that's what you want.
That's what I wanted. I was like,
a lot of gear, like because I have some expensive pedals. I don't have like crazy expensive, But like if you want an all Strymon setup and you want to pay like $500 for the Mobius or not the Mobius, right? And the timeline and the big sky. Like do whatever if you got the budget, it's all about what you want to pay. And if it makes you feel good that you own the handwire, more power to you. Like if you want
that's like, to me, I'm like that. There's no real difference, and everybody says like, oh, can you tell the difference? Absolutely not. That's just what I wanted back in 2011, and I finally have it. When you kind of have your like the thing that you've always wanted, you're like, yeah, that's it. That's the only thing you're like, yeah, I'm stoked on it, and nobody else is, but I am.
Whatever.
Anything else that Mad Professor makes that I should be looking for? Maybe
I've had the Silver Reverb.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Silver Spring Reverb. I used that for a long time, but I sold it when I had that Boss FRV. Yeah,
that's an awesome pedal.
Is that so you obviously like that better than?
Yeah, it's just it gets that
drip.
Yeah, exactly.
Drip.
That drip.
It gets that like because to me I'm like you would think like a drip like spring reverb wouldn't work for punk, but it totally does. It could fill up a mix in a 3-piece band if you use like a springy type reverb. But I'm not going to bring a tank or whatever. So like when I was gigging with like a conventional pedal board, I always had a spring reverb on the whole time. And I
I
always
mean, it's what's built in your amp. Like,
Yeah.
a lot of people's first amps.
And so I always used the Boss over the Mad Professor. So I sold the Mad Professor. And then I had another one. I had a fucking Catalan Bread Talisman, which was the plate reverb. I like that one a lot. I think we used that for like a tour or two. And it worked on my board for a while. But I was like, sold that and a couple tremolos. Got the Flint. Done. That's me done with reverbs.
Throwing this out there, another PGS exclusive that I bought day one when I found out it came out. The Hardwired Supernatural Reverb. Still one of the fucking greatest reverb pedals I've ever owned. Like, that thing is amazing. And the spring on it is pretty awesome. But the reason why it made me think of it is the Talisman. I got it for the plate reverb because it had two plates. It has the plate reverb and then it has a plate modulated reverb.
Oh shit! Okay.
And then of course I had that was the first shimmer pedal that I ever tried.
I don't think I have.
That thing is fucking great, and I totally regret selling it.
Yeah, I don't think I've ever tried any shimmer type reverbs. Even with my Fractal, I'm like, I think you can do shimmer reverbs in there, but I've never tried it because I'm like, I'm just gonna. All those shimmers are just gonna get lost in our mix with the band and stuff like that.
Not very punk rock.
It's not
shimmer.
It's not punk enough to do a shimmer, but yeah. Anyway, so back onto it. It's like, so things that you do look for in, like, Kyle, I guess like you're left out of this. Sorry. Like, do you watch a lot of YouTube videos?
No,
gear?
I watch a lot of YouTube videos, but they're about like Russian car crashes and stuff.
They're like Russian roulettes and stuff.
No, I don't watch that
Russian
shit.
car crashes. What the fuck?
Yeah, dash cam shit. Crazy stuff always happens there.
Those are pretty funny.
The guy's driving down the road, hits a moose, and then the moose is like, "What the fuck?" and starts running down the road with the car. Like, that's weird shit.
There's like,
doesn't happen here.
No, like, I think you've told me like your YouTube search is usually like
plane crashes, car crashes,
crashes.
Yeah.
And like, I've gone down that hole, and some of those I'm like stuck on a YouTube fix for hours just watching crashes. I'm like, what am I doing with my life? I gotta
yeah. I never get to that point.
You're like, I haven't gotten there yet.
Yeah.
Talk to me in 4 years, baby.
Yeah. So no, I don't really watch a whole lot of gear related.
That's what, like,
I'm getting into it.
Yeah.
But
it's what RJ said. It's like, so when we met RJ at the 60 cycle thing back in November, October, or some shit like that.
I don't remember.
Anyway, it's been a little while, and Kyle was never really into pedals, and now he's building them. He's got his own board. He's got a fucking breadboard. He's working on pedals, and he's super into it. And what I think is cool about Kyle, he's just going on the front line. Like, he wants to grab a pedal and figure out what makes it tick and what he likes about it. And he's not really a YouTube type of guy. So that's what is, the total dichotomy of the gear world. Like, some people are really going on YouTube and trying to, like, get super into it and watch everything that they can about it. And other people are just like, I want to be about it. I want to live in it.
Because I like diving in and tinkering and like making things, and that's what I like to do. And I think ever since like I've been playing, it wasn't ever like, oh, you can make these things. You can. These are made by a human being. It's always been like, oh, that's a thing. Plug it in and play it.
You're
until like recently, it's like, holy shit, you can make that.
Yeah, you can make.
I can make that.
Like, I can make a DS1 not sound like garbage.
Yeah,
I can make it sound really fucking sick.
Yeah, so I may be using someone else's like platform to make that, but I think that's gonna lead me to
Yeah, you're a little more
Dude,
hands on.
you go through any builder, like any builder, pedal builder.
Yeah.
How do they all start?
Modding.
Mods.
Yeah.
Brian Wampler has an entire book on how to mod pedals.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like, that's how they all start. Keeley,
Yeah.
Ibanez Tube Screamer, mod the
Modded.
shit out of it.
Yeah.
I
think I get my hands on a Tube Screamer.
Yeah.
That's not the one.
Not mine.
Not
No.
yours.
Don't touch mine.
But yeah, they're all, I think, pretty high price for what they are.
Yeah.
I could just make the circuit, I guess.
Okay, so about like the whole YouTube thing, Kyle, it's like the videos that he watches. He actually watches a lot of stuff on circuits.
Yeah,
so it's funny, like, when you think about, like, okay, gear videos aren't only about like rig rundowns and like demos. They're about actually like building circuits and learning about like, you know, that whole side of things. Like,
Yeah,
that's what I think is kind of funny. It's like, you know, we're talking about this. It's like, you know, there's so much to this platform of YouTube and videos and stuff like that.
Anything you
It's like,
want, just like podcasting, anything you want, as specific as you want to get with the subject matter you want to talk about.
it's
like,
there. Yeah.
it's there. There's a base for it. There's typically somebody covering that kind of content for you.
Yeah.
And it's amazing. Now, just real quick to throw back to things I also look at. Another reason why I like the PGS stuff is I love how Andy always started off with something in the mix.
Yeah.
What can it do for me in the mix? What
Like
can
in
it
a
kind
band.
of
Yeah.
sounds,
In a band setting. Yeah.
sounds can I get if I decided to record a rock band or whatever the case may be?
Yeah.
Or, you know. So I do enjoy that. But back to the content stuff. Yeah, you can get as specific as you want.
Yeah. And that's what,
And I can appreciate that, you know?
yeah, I think that's what's really cool about like where the world that we live in now. It's like your information and your entertainment is like at your fingertips pretty much. And it's like, even like we were talking about earlier about the wah pedal, like there was a tutorial on how to mod it. I looked at it, I'm like, I don't know what the fuck I'm looking at. I sent it to Kyle and he was able to like, okay, I can take this and work with the parts that I have and get the mod that you want out of this pedal. And he did it.
Yeah.
And I'm like, fuck, this is, it works. I'm like, I would never know what to do. Like he has the tools and he's got the gumption to like able to mod something like that.
I'm not afraid to fuck up a pedal,
Yeah.
especially if it's yours.
Especially if it's somebody else's pedal, send them to me. Okay, I guess we'll get more into specifics though. It's like what I wanted to get into. It's like, so like, you know, we talked about what we're looking for and we mentioned Pro Guitar Shop, but it was like, there's some YouTubers, like some demos that you maybe don't like, or like you like some of their things. We've talked about it before. I'm egging RJ on.
Okay. So this
I can
isn't
start first. I can
necessarily-
start first if you want.
No, I've got a very specific one that I have a very love-hate relationship with.
Go for it.
And it's called Trogley's Guitar or something.
Okay.
He specializes in doing videos about the weirdest, craziest fucking guitars you've never heard of.
Yeah.
Like he'll do like classic like 70s Les Pauls and stuff like that.
Yeah.
He'll talk and he just like he's so informative. Like, so, you know, this specific kind of screw was only used from 1963 to 1964. Like super specific
Yeah.
about guitars. Like,
But
like
that-
fucking how do you know about all that?
I
have
actually,
no idea.
that's kind of cool, but for me, I wouldn't be into that. I could see how it would be informational, definitely on
Yeah.
that kind of.
Here's the problem though. When he goes to demo
me.
the guitar, it's fucking shit. Guy can't play for shit. I love the dude. Super informative. Like, and
Sounds
it's
like
cool
shit.
seeing all this stuff, but he just cannot play. And the fact that he can, you know, go out and buy these, you know, $3,000, $4,000 guitars and like show them off, like that's awesome. And I like watching it because he does like, he recently did one that's like a fucking, somebody took like the Darth Vader collectors for like toys,
Yeah.
put a piece of wood in the fucking like the clamp, like where it has all the action figures, and made a guitar of it. You know, like his breathing apparatus.
Yeah.
He put a fucking humbucker in there and threw a neck on it.
I think I've seen that recently. Actually, someone posted.
Is it, well, yeah.
It's probably
Yeah,
that
but
guy.
he does videos on crazy shit like that all the time. Or the headless Gibson SG where it literally has the headstock built into the body.
Ugh.
It's the ugliest thing.
So his whole thing is like, for you, is like he just doesn't play well.
He doesn't play well, and I can't stand it. Like, I'm no crazy player.
Virtuoso, but it's like you can get a good sound.
Like, if you can't do the solo shit, don't do the solo shit. I'm all up for listening to power chords.
Yeah.
Like, I'm okay with that. Like, you don't have to do crazy solo stuff.
Yeah.
Like, give me just some power chords. That's what I like. I think, that's another thing I will say is, in general, I'm not a huge fan of the shreddy stuff because that's not what I do.
Yeah.
Like, I want to hear it in like riffs, in songs, in context. It's what matters to me because we're not just going to sit there and fucking noodle all day.
Well,
I'm not the guy at the Guitar Center who comes in every Saturday and just fucking noodles on a Line 6 Spider for fucking 6 hours.
Well, I'm going to
Jesus Christ.
go off of that with your riffs. One YouTuber that I really do like, I like Ryan Fluff, Bruce. I like riffs and beards. But one thing with his that I'm like, I like watching his content. He has very good looking videos, and he's like home studio guy,
Genius,
super awesome. But
total camera nerd as well. Like,
yeah,
I wish he would do a channel just on camera stuff because he
does
gets
it
real
in his
nerdy.
Q&A, like, you know,
He
like
will, and
Q&A,
he's done a couple
Q&A
of
Mondays,
videos
yeah.
like unboxes of his camera stuff.
His whole thing is like he can make anything sound the fucking same.
Oh,
It all
he's
sounds
like
the same.
Ola England. It's the
Well,
same
it's
thing.
like, you know, he can make, you know, an orange rock reverb sound like a PV6505. John Pertucci, Mesa Boogie, like, you know, $3,000, $5,000 amp sounds like, you know, a 6505. He can take like you know, a mini, you know, orange, like, you know, no tubes in it. He can make it sound like a 6505 because he compresses and like EQs the fucking shit out of it. And I'm like, dude, I can't.
What's the point?
Yeah,
you're
I
not
get it. You don't want it to
showcasing the
sound like
product.
shit.
because he does a lot of post process. He's an excellent like studio guy too. And he's all like home studio, and he's like so good about it. And he can do rock songs, heavy, you know, metal songs. That's his whole thing. But it all sounds the same when he does a demo. I'm like, dude, you're showcasing a fuzz with a Strat, and it sounds just like your humbucker with EMGs. It's like humbucker EMGs through your 65.
He really does.
I can't. That's one thing. I'm like, dude, I can't watch his. I don't always watch his videos. I do sometimes because I want to hear his take on things. But on the other side of things, there's somebody who was not on the heavy metal front or like the super gainy front is the Curtis Kent guy. All his stuff sounds like he'll go through a gain range on like say like a full drive 2 or like some like drive pedal. I can't hear a difference. I'm like, dude, you're rocking like a really cool custom shop telly through like a Benson or something, and it just sounds like on the edge of breakup. Let me click on the pedal. On the edge of breakup still. Maybe a little bit louder. Like he'll run through the whole like gain stage and like, you know, the volume, and I can't hear a fucking difference. I'm like,
This
dude,
is with your headphones on.
yeah,
and
like everything.
this
I'm like,
isn't just like using your iPhone.
yeah,
yeah,
and
no,
I'm like, what? I'm like, dude, I'm like, I saw a demo for the full drive 2 with a JHS mod on there because I read up all the specs.
Amazing pedal.
And I love that
can't
pedal.
stress enough how great that pedal
And
is.
I did. His was one of the demos that I watched. I was like, dude, I can't hear a difference. But the one thing I love about Curtis Kent is that he'll do what I play. He'll play open chords. He'll do the you know power chords with the chugs kind of thing, and he'll do like arpeggios, and he'll do exactly what I want to play because I'm like, that's what I'm going to use. So it's awesome for delays. It's awesome for trems. It's awesome for this, but like, you know, like chorus and stuff like that. But it's not great for drives because I'm like, dude, your amp or the way you're recording, I can't hear any dynamic. I can't hear any dynamic of the pedals. But some like demos that I honestly like really look forward to are, and it's a good or bad thing, is Pete Thorne. He can
That's what I was going to bring up. Pete Thorne.
He can make
that guy.
anything sound good.
He's good.
Oh, dude, proof of that is the video that I sent you today.
Yeah, with the
where
TC.
he's sitting down with TC Electronic. And don't get me wrong, I have an alter ego on my
You
board,
hate
but
them. You hate that.
You got a ditto. Yeah.
I mean, I don't hate them. It's just like, you know, it's like the people who like craft beer versus the people who like Miller Lite.
Yeah.
Oh, shit.
all good.
Up.
You
I
know,
love both.
Yeah.
So
You
I
can
don't-
love
I'm
both.
drinking
you can,
one. I'm drinking a Miller Lite right now.
You can like them all. You can like them good.
You can like them all. But point being is that man is just an amazing player.
And I think that's with him.
Period.
Is he is a guitar player. He's not a metal player. He's not a country player. He's not anything. He's
He
like
plays it all.
he's
Oh, no.
a guitar player.
Yeah,
That's his
he's
job.
he's a studio. He's a session player. Like
So
he does a lot of session stuff, and so he's just great.
yeah,
at it.
he'll
Like,
go through
fucking-
like the whole thing with like a 5-minute video. He'll do like, you know, this is what it sounds like through a combo. This is what it sounds like through a heavy amp. This is what it sounds like through a clean amp. You know, single coils, humbuckers. He'll kind of do the whole thing. He's focused more on the sound of the pedal too.
Mhm.
His videos are sometimes like 720. That's his highest thing. It's like his videos are like, they're not that crazy like clean looking.
No, they're not. Like they're typically dimly lit and
But the thing is, the audio sounds fucking great. It's a great representation of the gear.
Yeah.
And like that's one thing with him. It's like, oh, and he's just like he's like a guy. He's like, you got 5 minutes. I'm not going to take all your goddamn time. We're just going to do it. And he's like, and it's partially for him. It's probably he doesn't want to take like all his whole week to make a demo video, but it was like 5 minutes, and he gets every aspect of what your pedal that you wanted to sound like.
Sure. And with back to the audio, like you were talking about, even if you watch like video guys, like because I watch a lot of like camera gear, like if your audio is on point, even recording vocals,
Yeah.
people will find it more tolerable if it's not like the best shot, like piece of film ever.
Yeah.
But if the audio is garbage and you can't understand your actors that are on scene,
And
I don't give a fuck what your scene is. If you can't understand them, it does you no good.
And if you if it sounds like super echoey and you can't hear anything, then people are going to be like, wow, this is low budget. But if it's like, because a lot of people, I'm like, not to like bring things down for you, a lot of people are going to be watching on their phone. So if you're super high quality stuff, they're going to be watching on their phone anyways. But if it sounds good and it's worthwhile, the both of them combined, audio is probably what most people are going to be hearing like listening to or looking at first.
So like a tangent on that, like I get it. And everybody wants to use the phone, and most of them don't even use headphones. Totally fine. And the thing that I cringe most about like YouTubers of like, be sure to listen to this with headphones on a good pair of speakers, not your laptop speakers or your iPhone speaker. I'm like, that's not your bass. Like, and it's not. So why even add that disclaimer? Like, try to make, like, I understand you don't want to do too much to EQ the pedal. To EQ post, but at the same time, like, you check your iPhone, check how it sounds on your iPhone. If that's a good representation, like, just do the test. Cause like, honestly, like when I do mixes, even for actual songs, I'm going to listen on just the speaker of my iPhone to see how it sounds.
Yeah.
Because guess what? People do that. That's a thing. And they listen to their mixes with 99-cent headphones.
That's like when we mix records, or even when this is like way, way pulled back. But when I mix and master the, band's albums and stuff like that, I always want to hear a bounce down through Apple earbuds because they're cheap shit. I mean, they charge a premium, but that's what people are going to listen to on those. Yeah. There's no big, like, huge EQ curves. There's no, like, super bass or whatever, like, noise canceling to those. But I'm like, they're going to listen to those on those. And even when I do, like, my mixes of the podcast, that's what I want to mix to. I want to make it sound good on Apple earbuds.
So another shout out to Graham Cochran at the Recording Revolution. He has the most amazing like videos on like how to like mix stuff. Like if you're looking to mix your own album, and he did an entire album that he put out on iTunes again, except for he did it with like a $300 studio budget.
Yeah.
And he mixed and mastered the entire thing with Apple earbuds. And it still sounds really good because he knows what they sound like.
That's what people are going to listen to it on. All right. Well, I think we're going to end it up there. But thanks, RJ. Thanks for coming out.
Thank you for having me.
One more time before we go, do you want to plug all your social medias and where people can find you?
Yes. So it's Telly Talks with an exclamation point. You can find me on YouTube and Instagram. And you can also join the group if you'd like on Facebook.
There we go. And if you want to, you can find the Tone Jerks on Instagram, on Facebook, all those deals too. And if you feel so inclined, you guys can go on Patreon. You guys can help support the show for as little as $1 a month. And at $2 a month, you get an extra episode, which I think we're going to record next, every week. You guys get something new. You guys get the whole back catalog of all the other shit that we've done. It's all good. And we want to give a shout out to people who have supported us so far. So we want to give out a huge shout out to Paul and Co. from the Flippin' Flippers podcast.
Whoop, whoop.
Oh, the homies.
Hell yeah.
Those guys, make sure to check out their podcast. Same podcatcher you're listening to this on. Check them out. Flippin' Flippers podcast. They're great. They're on Instagram. They're doing their own damn thing. They're doing the pedal thing. And then we also want to give a shout out to our friends over at Fat Foot Effects. They've been a big supporter of our show since day one. So make sure to check them out at fatfooteffects.com. They're on Instagram too. So they do pedals, they do mods, all that type of shit. So thank you guys. See ya.
See ya. Bye.
Bye.
Bye-bye.